bye week here. I think the guys, we wanted to get them a little bit of a deep breath, and so we practiced just a couple of times. Did go practice last night. Thought the energy was good, and headed for the final stretch here of the season. Huge games coming up. Obviously, starting on the road against a really good opponent. Got a bunch of respect. I say that a lot, but I just look at the job Coach Fish has done over his. I think he's in year 3. You can just see a team that continues to improve. One of the hotter teams, I think, in our league right now, coming off playing some really good football, so it's going to be a serious challenge. Been coaching in this league a long time. Traveling down to Arizona is tough. It's going to be a big-time atmosphere. So I know our guys will be excited, but they'll have to play with some great focus. They're going to have to play really well against this football team, and we're definitely looking forward to the opportunity.
With the week to look at things, what did you see? What are you seeing from the run defense that's not quite right?
Yeah, we got to definitely improve there. It was awesome to take the opportunity of kind of watching now 7 games, I guess. And there's a few things. We got to be in the right gap. Sometimes we're jumping out of the gap. Sometimes trying to make a play. That's happened too many times. We got to tackle better. And again, we're playing against some good backs, quarterbacks that can extend the run. They're not easy to tackle, but we got to tackle better and stay in our gap.
The tackling part of that. How do you work on that when you can't really spend a lot of time live tackling in practice this time of year?
Yep, you're right. I mean, this thing, you're not going out there and just going to play live to get it better. There's drills, there's techniques. These guys have done it before. We got to do better of going lower on the ball carrier. These guys are good. So you go high on a tackle, that's going to be tough to bring a guy down, or at least he's going to be falling forward. So we try to emphasize that in regards to the posture. When we practice, we come up on a ball carrier. No, we're not going to tackle him to the ground. We want to get in a better posture, try to get that muscle memory going.
A few personnel. Ryan Cooper, where's he at?
Yep, he's back and forth. We'll see how he looks toward the end of the week. But he's been dealing with something that has not gotten totally right. He played really well, last time we were out, but we'll know at the end of the week.
And Levin good.
Should be practiced yesterday. We're pretty optimistic he'll play.
It looked like Alton Julian played a little bit of inside linebacker. Was that an emergency thing, or is that something you're kind of looking at?
We're looking at it a little bit. It's kind of like a dime package, getting another athlete on the field. We have been banged up at the inside backer position, and so it allows to get him on the field, and he's been working. It's a different position than safety, so there's some learning curve there, but he's a really smart player.
And then I keep getting asked about Kelsey Howard. Is he just a freshman that's not quite ready to go yet, or is there something more?
Excited about him, practicing really hard. He's got some older guys that have done it in front of him, so he's making great contributions at practice, but currently not in the rotation.
Coach, a tale of 2 stories for you guys this season. At home, you guys have been pretty much nigh unbeatable, about 11 points per game, about 285 yards. On the road, though, 31 points allowed on average, over 400 yards. What's been different for you guys defensively when it comes to playing at home and playing on the road, especially with another tough matchup here this weekend?
Yeah, I don't know if I can put my finger right on it. The run defense definitely showed up against Cal. Some explosive plays. The 2 road games, I'm thinking about Cal and Washington State. Washington State played lights out. Give them some credit there. They made some plays in both the pass game and the run game. So, look, we're confident in the defense. We understand that week in, week out, these opponents we're playing are good, and we're going to have to tighten up some details.
How hard is it for you guys to prepare for, again, another situation where you may have to prepare for 2 different quarterbacks? It's kind of been a theme for you guys this season, but this time around, the backup quarterback for Arizona, he's been playing lights out. How do you get prepared for either one this weekend?
Yeah, I think they got similar skill sets. They can, accurate, know that scheme inside and out. Both of them are really competitive. You can see it not just when they're in the pocket, they leave the pocket. Really good offense in general. There's no question in this league, they've got a couple of quarterbacks they can win games with, and Noah coming in the last few has shown that.
What have you seen from Arizona's game plan that you guys can think that you can take advantage of, especially since it seems like they're kind of starting to figure out their own scheme and their own kind of culture right now in that system?
Yeah, they made a huge jump defensively this year. It's one of the better defenses statistically in the league. Sound, make you earn it. They've gotten bigger, stronger at the defensive front, and then coverage recognition. They do a good job at the disguise. So that's something that's going to be a challenge offensively. Coach Fish knows what he's doing on offense. They got a couple big-time playmakers on the outside. Play more than one back, similar to us, and so they've got weapons, and it's a balanced offense.
I know you said that you guys practiced last night. When you guys have these nighttime games, do you guys change the times of practice at all to try and get your players kind of ready for a later time game and, you know, try to get their bodies, you know, ready for a 7 o'clock set?
Right, we don't, just because we find out these kick times 2 weeks in advance, get a set of schedule so these guys can go to class at the same time. So we've been same schedule for a while. The only thing I guess we do tweak, depending on kickoff time, the day of the game, how we approach and what we do the morning of. We'll do something when we're kicking off later.
For Arizona to go up on the Palouse and take care of business by 38, pretty impressive. What really impressed you with their performance, and is it just that this Pac-12 is so deep and there's so many teams that can play well?
Yeah, I think it's the conference in general, so deep, so many of these games, you don't exactly know how it's going to play out. They played really well up there in that one particular, both sides of the ball, offensively, moving and scoring, defensively, shutting down what I think is a really potent offense. And so each week's going to be new. I mean, we had a bye. I was able to see some of these games this last Saturday. You don't know exactly how these games are play out. You gotta play well to earn a win.
One other thing, could you talk a little bit about the performance of Fuaga on the offensive line and how important he is on that line?
Yeah, he's been really solid. Even starting not just on the field, you talk about his leadership, the influence he has on his team's work ethic. He's a voice in that locker room. Really talented player, can make it physical, but he's athletic for how big he is, knows the call. And he's got some guys next to him playing well too. I mean, that front has been a huge part of our success this year.
Coach, you touched on it just a second ago about watching games. How much football did you watch besides film?
Yeah, I saw some on TV. Got to get on the road a little recruiting, saw some high school games too. So you're always checking it out. I enjoy it. I can't get the coach out of my mind when I'm watching it. I'm gonna sit there as a fan, but it was just another example. Again, these games are so competitive, week in and week out. You never exactly know. It's impressive to see the type of skill and playmaking across this league. Mostly is what I watch, but even across the country, college football, it's a great thing.
You mentioned that you guys had a couple practices during the bye week. Was there anything specific or any specific areas that you guys worked on, improving in this bye?
Yeah, they had a couple of things on each side of the ball that we want to emphasize and try to tighten up. We talked a little bit about on the defense side, offensively, some mechanics and our procedure we wanted to tighten up. We definitely got a lot of younger guys or guys that haven't played as much. We want to continue that development, so we got them a lot of reps, especially on Wednesday, to let them play our schemes, not just being the scout teamer that only runs schemes of the opponent.
You talked about Arizona in your opening statement, practically one of the hottest teams in the conference, probably next to you guys. How do you, or what is your message to the team about not sort of buying into that hype or listening to that outside noise?
Yeah, again, you take a bye week and there's continued conversation. We want to be focused on the task at hand. It's really about getting back to our timing. You take a week off, you got to get back to going full speed, because this will be a challenging atmosphere opponent that we're going to need to play well.
Aiden has played the last several games. Is there any reason why he wouldn't play in any of these last 5?
Not currently. Again, we've kind of liked the rhythm of him getting a taste of this thing. He's played well when he's gotten in. Really appreciate the way DJ continues to help him, and they prepare together throughout the week. And so I don't see that changing.
This will be the 4th straight week. I'm assuming they're going to start the redshirt freshman. Be the 4th straight week you played either a freshman or true freshman quarterback. Are freshmen just more ready these days because of the 7-on-7, the private coaches, or is some of that the portal that the coaches have some urgency to get these guys on the field because they don't know?
I do think the quarterbacks in this day and age are more and more developed, more reps, 7-on-7 coming out of high school. I do think and I don't know this for certain, all 4 guys, but the early entry guys that arrive in January, you get a free 6 months before they truly start their freshman year. I think that compounds with guys being more ready. The portal's out there, but at least on my end, I think coaches are going to play whoever's best, give them the best chance to win, and it's just turned out to be in the younger guys.
I mean, you played as a redshirt freshman. Do you feel like these guys are more ready today than you might have been?
Well, for me, yeah. Yes, more ready than I was, and again, I go back to how many they can do this thing year round now, 7-on-7, and all those reps count in the development on a quarterback.
Coach, how did Tanner Biller grayed out going that whole game.
Yeah, Tanner's been awesome. I mean, he played really well. The ability for him to play at a high level at two positions, especially the center thing, it's different when you're snapping and making the call. So he's been a huge piece of that front this year.
You mentioned how well they're playing Arizona on both sides. You have some background with Johnny Nansen, right? You were with him in Idaho.
Yeah.
You're kind of young in his career. What did you see kind of coming up from him early in his coaching?
Yeah, really good coach, energy, motivator, competitive. And then you look at that defense and what they're playing, it shows a lot of his personality out there. He's been a lot of places around a lot of good coaches, and now he's putting it all together.
What's clicked with Jack Velling the last several weeks?
Yeah, he's a good player. I don't know if there's just one thing. I just think about the touchdowns he's caught. And some of that was, cover two recognition, quarterback. He's running a good vertical. Some of that's been on the goal line where, bigger frame to catch the ball. He's playing at a really high level, and he's a huge threat.
Jack and Anthony Gould and Silas have kind of established themselves as the sort of the go-to receivers. As we go these last 5 games, is there a fourth guy that's on the verge of maybe not joining that group, but really becoming a guy that could take advantage of some of these situations?
Yeah, you know what? We're confident with some of the others. I mean, Irish has made some plays for us as well. Again, those three you mentioned are playing at a high level. The amount of the opportunities, right? Just looking at how many times we're going to throw it versus hand it to what I think are two really good backs. We're not going to just try to continue to get 4 to 5 to 6. Guys need to make a play if they're called on. But if some 3 guys are hot, we're going to keep trying to go to them.
As you guys keep winning games, the drumbeat of the CFP is going to get louder and louder. Is this a situation where you don't really talk to the team much about that they know, or do you have to every once in a while remind them to focus on what's going on?
Yeah.
Because they're going to hear about it.
Oh yeah, there's no question, and we're not trying to dodge. We want some energy and excitement about what we're doing, but ultimately, just like we're mentioning each week, you never know how these games are going to go, and so the only thing we got to control is how we're going to prepare in this process, like this week, because we know the challenge in front of us, and we want to play meaningful games at the end of the year, and the only way you're going to do that is if you're taking care of business right now.
I don't know if it was even mentioned after the UCLA game, but obviously you guys have already clinched a bowl berth. But it seems like that was such an afterthought from you guys. I didn't even hear one of the players mention it or anything like that. What does that say about the team as a whole and just the culture that you're building?
Yeah, I mean, going to a bowl postseason, we want to do that, and so that's an achievement. I think where we've got the locker room currently, they want to, in each week, just raise our level of play. There's more out there for us, so it wasn't the primary goal to get to 6.
The decision to play Childs in game number 5 in this new age of NIL, portal, coming and going, all that, how much more difficult was that a decision than it would have been in the old days?
Yeah, that didn't play a ton. I mean, it just got into, he's contributing, he's a good player. He liked the idea of how it's going. We definitely continue to talk to him each week, and so it's been successful. We like him in the game, and so we were going to keep on doing it. He was all about it, and he was.
Coach, you guys were ranked obviously 11th in the nation this past week in the AP Coaches Poll. What does it mean to you to see the work and the culture that you've been building here in this program coming to fruition and being recognized across the nation, that you guys are having success here in Corvallis?
We want to, recognition is great, but ultimately winning is great, and so that's what we're trying to do. That's why I go back to the respect I got for Arizona and how they're building the thing. Just as a coach, just into seeing improvement, and Arizona's continued to do it. I think we've done it now for a few years, and we want to continue to go higher and higher.
Do you think it's more rewarding though, seeing it built over years to come instead of having immediate success like some coaches do and then kind of falter off? What's your personal take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm into doing hard things. I think there's some genuine fulfillment that takes place if it's really hard and you can just keep plugging away at it. But we're not trying to be patient for success at the same time.
One final question for you. The red zone efficiency for you guys I think are a perfect 25 out of 25. You're one of, I think, 3 teams left that have had a 100% success rate in the red zone. What do you attribute to that success to this season in the red zone?
I think it's helped, the run game, because, the field shrinks, and so you got to make it physical, and we've got a run game attack that has really helped us down there. I will say this last game, we kicked a couple field goals. that we're not always into down there in the red zone. Atticus is having a nice year on that, got a bunch of confidence in him. So the run game helps. I do think the aggression on fourth downs helped a couple of those drives, turn them into touchdowns. And you gotta be able to score in this league, so that's been a great stat.
Great, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.